the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota.
Welcome to another edition of the Volpe Bazzo Report. I'm your co-host Domenic Volpe. With me again tonight is Andy Bazzo, our co-host, and our special guest today is Bruce Apar. And what's the word I just heard? The mayor
of Penny Saver Community. The results are in, right, Bazzo?
That's right.
I think I won.
You won. You won. And it was, being running unopposed and almost losing wasn't an easy
I know.
feat.
That would have been embarrassing.
Yes, it would have been. Anyway, just quickly, Bruce is with the Chase Media Group.
Chase Media
Penny
Group.
Saver.
We're brought to you. Oh no, that was a different show.
Because we are now wearing in Yorktown. You'll notice we are now wearing
Penny
in
Saver
Yorktown.
is owned by Chase Media Group.
Right.
Paula Chase, Frank Rich.
Right, and I write a weekly column for the Yorktown News, and I'm also in the Mayapack News because we're in Mayapack also now. So welcome, new viewers.
And by the way, when Bazzo's not writing, he's still in the news because he's doing something that's newsworthy, right?
Now, this is our Christmas. As you can tell by our getup, we're here for Hanukkah.
Yes, that's right. I have my Hanukkah hat on.
That's right. Anyway, we have our Christmas New Year's show, so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, everybody.
And Happy Hanukkah.
And just to start with our New Year's and Christmas topic, just start right off the bat, I want to do a Grinch moment. And I want to wish a stocking full of coal for the Cortland Town Board.
Oh.
What they have done with the traffic control devices on 6, Westbrook, Tate Avenue, Broadway, Westbrook Drive, Oregon Road. These people deserve the most miserable Christmas that they give the drivers on those roads. What they have done has made, as bad as it was when I first bitched about them on our old show, they've made it worse now.
Now, how?
Because they got these lights with arrows that just go to an arrow for no reason, just to stop traffic.
Well, now that it's Christmas, they should at least have bows and arrows.
And, well, that's the problem with arrows. People see the arrow, they look for the Indians. But the point is that you got people doing traffic control that obviously don't ride the roads on a regular basis. To at least, they should talk to somebody that actually drives on the road.
Well, I mean, listen, seriously, traffic control is a science. They don't just
No, the town of Cortland is too cheap to have a police department. And so they use the traffic lights and make everybody miserable instead of just the bad drivers. They treat everybody like a speed bump, which is about the mentality of that town board. And I really do wish them nothing but coals for Christmas.
Boy,
and that's my Grinch moment.
That's a heck of a way to start the Christmas show, I'll tell you that.
But I want to...
is there a disclaimer? The opinions of those of Bazzo and
I think it's
do not reflect the guest.
Now you are a consumer of news. You've been in news. You've been in newspaper and magazine, right?
Yes,
you started in magazine, right?
Yes, magazines. Yes.
And you are a good consumer of news. I know because you keep up on all this, because we never know what your political future may be. I'm waiting to see the Volpe for whatever office banner on the dry cleaner.
Yeah, that's like.
But anyway,
I should tell Domenic how I became mayor. Maybe.
Maybe I should go by his.
But it came on the news yesterday that Sports Illustrated.
Sporting News.
Sporting News. I'm sorry, and we all know that Sporting News.
Sporting News. Yes.
Has now gone all digital. There's no more print.
Right.
And
Newsweek just
did the same thing.
A couple of weeks ago did the same thing.
I don't know. Personally, I read some stuff online, and because I don't watch television news at all.
Right.
I like most, but I really don't get into...
Even though, as we both know, people always accuse you of being a Fox News junkie, right?
And I don't
now you get all your opinions from Fox News?
Right, and I don't watch television news at all.
Right.
But anyway, I want to ask both of you, because our co-producer Thomas Newman said I talk too much and I should give my guests and co-hosts. I'm going to throw this out. What the hell's going on with these magazines and print media? Can they survive just doing digital?
Probably a better question for you.
No, but you're a businessman. I mean, do you prefer your news in print or on a computer? Because I've seen you do both.
Yeah, I would say it's probably somewhere in the middle. It's where you're going to see. I mean, are the big chains like Daily News and New York Times, are those are the ones that are going to be under the gun? Or is it small local penny saver, Yorktown News, Yorktown Examiners that they're going to continue to coexist actually? Because, I mean, to be quite honest, I look at more of the local stuff than I do even county or national things like that too. So as a businessman, I just stay apprised of the local stuff, and that's good enough. At nighttime when I hit, after coming home from a hard day's work, I'll hit the national stuff on TV very quick. It's not like you watch the whole half-hour program or segment. It's 5-minute blip and it's done. That's really about it. But as far as local, I still look to these local newspapers.
So you prefer it in print?
Sure, that's the way I would think so. Yeah.
So being that he's talking about local news, let's segue to you, Bruce, and your opinion, because you were in magazine.
Right. But the real question is not whether you can survive in publishing with a digital-only platform, as we call it, but whether you can survive with print only. That's the real question, because we're in a very dramatic and exciting, actually, state of flux, with media, and we're right in the middle. I call it an inflection point between print and digital. We're right there. Everybody, from the New York Times and Wall Street Journal, USA Today, the networks, everybody's trying to figure it out. Nobody has the answers. So I think what's happening with print in some areas, not so much dailies, which are really struggling, but weeklies, they're starting, I think, to stabilize. They'll seek their own level. It's not going to ever be like it was. It's going to be a smaller business. And you have to, if you're in print, you have to be in digital. There's no question about it.
Yeah, but when you get these major brands, Sports Illustrated, right?
No, sport. Right. Recently,
a
like
Newsday,
you said, right?
A Newsweek,
right?
Can they survive just digital? I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
they can survive print.
and that's what I'm saying.
I mean, is this the last?
It remains
gasp?
to be. That's what I mean. There's no answers. That
What
remains
does
to be
your
seen.
experience
But
teach you? Because you've done everything. You've got digital with the Penny Saver. The North County News was online. The Penny Saver's online, but you still have print.
But the business is reinventing itself. It's redefining itself. And you know what it is? You have to be in a position where you can afford to lose money. That's what it is. It's investment spending. You have to be able to afford to lose money as this transition is taking place, and it's going to go on for years. And the reason that it's so unknowable is that the big news in the digital publishing world recently is that there was something called The Daily, that news corporation, Rupert Murdoch's company.
Correct.
Started a tablet only, iPad. It was only on tablets, a newspaper called The Daily. It was digital only. It failed. So they, but again, we're at the very early stages of them trying to...
As a businessman, what do you want to advertise in? Do you want print?
Right.
Or do you want computer?
I've been... In that same aspect, I'm really trying to. We're also in that state of flux because really we don't know.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I mean, we've been using print advertising in the sense
You
like
use
a
the
money mailer because I know it's direct. It goes right to the target I'm looking for. But if I ever want to do anything beyond that, do I use a local newspaper or do we use a local patch, for example, type of ad?
That's what I'm saying. Do you want it on computer? Do you prefer
I've
it
done
in print?
both, and it's hard to figure out which one is hitting.
Exactly.
You really don't know.
Right.
The only thing I can, as a businessman, I'm going to flip it and say this. And I'm going to use the Penny Saver as the example. When North County News, which Penny Saver owned, and get back to Bruce's point, you got to be able to lose money. See, to me, North County News basically was a loss leader. But what it did is it kept the local person apprised with all the local information, and at the same time, everybody knew that it was a penny saver, so it kind of was an advertising for the penny saver at the same time.
Right.
And if there was the digital or the print that was on the computer, there was your summons in a sense to the public. Hey, we're here, and this is also, by the way, if you want additional information, you can go to the computer and read it up on, additionally more.
Well,
and in my business, like for example, when I do a men's shirt, it's a loss leader. We lose money. We know there's no way you're making money on it, but it's what brings the customer into the store and keeps them there.
Like your brother's got a liquor store.
Right.
And we had the liquor store for years, and you had the jug wines in front. You lost money on those jug wines.
Right.
But they brought the people in.
Right.
And hopefully they bought something else.
Right.
Right.
But you and I had this discussion many times when I said that the newspaper business was a loss leader so they could write off the losses under these corporate. That's why the corporations have been buying them, so they could write off the losses on their more profitable ventures. I just don't think there's a profit in print. The days of Perry White owning the Daily Planet are over. It's all corporate now.
Well, right.
GE owns MSNBC and NBC. So what do they do? They toe the corporate line.
Now it's NBC Universal, actually.
Right, but GE owns all this.
No, they used to, yeah. Now it's now Universal owns NBC. But you're right, that keeps changing. But I just want to say the reason that Dominic was alluding to, the penny saver is unique and it's very different.
Always has been.
Right.
Always has been.
So the thing is, we're talking about, I just spoke about a digital newspaper that came and went in about a year. So this, in 2013, will be 55 years old. So you know it works. And the reason it works is it's very simple. It's very basic. People get it. They understand immediately, I'm shopping for something.
Correct.
Or I'm selling something.
Yes.
And that's it.
Right.
It's back to basics. And so anything that's basic is timeless. It always works, no matter what is going on around you.
My grandfather was his first advertiser. Him and the original owner, John Chase, the father.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
My grandfather were friends, and
Right.
my grandfather Benino's was his first advertiser when he used to do this out of his basement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then that's the way. Hey, listen, Mr. Chase was a brilliant entrepreneur. We give out an award in his name to local entrepreneurs.
Who gets it this year, by the way?
Well, we're not announcing it yet, but
by the time this show airs, you can go. There's nobody in the room. Just you, me, my mother, and
okay. I'll whisper it in your mother's ear. That's right.
No, we're not going to give us an exclusive.
No, I can't do that. No. Sorry, Andy.
Why? You think anybody's going to watch this?
It better be.
Now, I got another topic. Last week, I wrote, because we had a November election. 2 states actually voted to legalize marijuana completely. Other states voted to just legalize medical marijuana. I wrote a column a couple years ago that the only column you guys never printed, and I stated this up front. I said, okay, I understand the objection, but now the time has come to revisit the topic, and it was in last week's Yorktown News, and I said I didn't have to change much because the more things change, the more they stay the same. The argument's the same.
Right.
Is the time, and I said not either it's time to legalize medical marijuana, or at least now it's time to have the discussion of legalizing medical marijuana. I talked with my mother, and even she agreed. The medical part, she understands with the suffering,
right.
And this is my argument. But even knowing that the end game may be the eventual legalization of marijuana,
right.
Does that mean we should prevent the legalization of medical marijuana because of what might be? Go ahead, either one.
Well, it's not being prevented, though. You said it is legal in certain
not
states.
in this state. In New York.
In New Jersey, it is.
No, New York now. We're trying to talk about getting
I'm saying in New Jersey, they now have, it's been in the news, they now have medical marijuana.
Right, but New York does it.
Right,
but
okay.
they're trying to do it in New York. But, of course, you have these. But is it time now to bring this as an issue in New York like 2 years ago was gay marriage?
It is an issue.
No, but I say 2 years ago was gay marriage. The time had come.
Right.
Is the time now for medical marijuana, because it's been proven to ease the suffering of dying people, make their final days more. Is the time come? Like I said, most people say if you legalize it, then it's only going to lead to the legalization of regular marijuana in general. And I'm saying, but that's not a reason not to do this.
Right.
Because that's what might be. What will be is the easing of the mitigating of pain.
Well, I think you
both have kids.
Well,
you still have a young kid in high school. You both have, but you have a daughter in college.
Right.
You have children in college. What that works is the time come.
Yeah, I think we're at the point now. Well, first of all, let's start with the topic one is discussion. Absolutely, it's the time to have a discussion about this is tantamount because. With the discussion, you'll start to get the cream that rises to the top. You can follow already other states that have already begun, like New Jersey, California, and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So the discussion has to be there. Second part is, yes, is it time for medical marijuana to be accepted? I think it's like you said, it's clearly how now when we have people who are dying who are in that type of state of mind. I knew for a fact one friend that the doctor even told family members, look, if you can get a little marijuana, go ahead and bring it up. We'll bring him outside and let him take some, because it's gotten to the point that everything that we've tried to administer to him is failing. It's not working. He needs more help than and he didn't want the stuff that totally put him out, because he didn't want to be, to the point that he was despondent.
Right.
He still wanted to know what was going on.
Morphine and all them do. They
exactly.
Put you in la-la
exactly.
land.
So you could see that, and that's an issue that was brought up 10 years ago with this.
Well,
with this
what
friend.
I wrote in the column is between 1988 and 1995, I lost 26 friends to various forms of cancer and AIDS. And marijuana would have made their last days a lot less painful than they died. And that's why, as a conservative, and now in the 1980s, Bill Buckley, well-known conservative, said we should not be making criminals of our kids. You send them to jail for this, they come out bigger criminals, and you screws up their entire future with this criminal record and trying to find gainful employment. And
but I'll tell you, this is how I look at things like this. It's a very interesting topic, needless to say, and in a very hot issue, a lightning rod issue.
Yes.
But one of the most interesting and descriptive phrases that came out of this election, some people attribute it to Chris Matthews, is low information voter. Have you heard that? Low information voter?
Yes.
Which actually is caught on. It's become sort of a coinage.
Which is the politically correct way of saying the politically ignorant.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's a euphemism, but I think it's a very well-turned phrase, and it's a euphemism. Some people might say you're ignorant, you're a dumb voter, but low information voter is very apt and descriptive. But my point is, so when you take an issue like the one we're talking about, there's a lot of people on both sides of the issue who are low information, consumers, let's call them, or citizens,
right?
And yet that doesn't stop them from espousing very strongly held views based on low or little information. And I think with a lot of things today, like this issue that you're talking about, that's the problem with the national dialogue. When you go online, we all of us know, and all of us have been subjected or victimized by it. You go online and you read these comments from people. They're low information comments. They really don't have information, but then they make these sweeping generalizations.
But that's why. But that's why you have to get back to. That's why the first part of your question was: is it time for the discussion? Yeah. Right. And the discussion is tantamount, because that'll bring up the information, pro or con, and then that way you kind of see which one is the right thing. And then if it's good, it goes. Let's do it. If not, then you pull back. But to just take two sides without any discussion.
But
no, absolutely.
How much information do you need? Now, my mother's 200 years old.
Right.
And she's sitting in the audience, folks. She's sitting in the audience.
So you didn't just see Lincoln, you knew Lincoln.
Right. But anyway, she doesn't. I know she reads a lot. She reads the paper. But this was a gut thing for her about mitigating pain. How much information you know to have compassion? Why do you feel? I mean, I understand
because there are consequences to every law that's passed. That's why.
What are they going to do?
Just about compassion.
You mean you're afraid the terminal's going to get addicted?
No, I think it's no. In this case, it's not. No, it's not the question of does the medical marijuana help the patient. It's the second part. Does it lead then to?
But that's a fight for another day.
But that's where the problem lies. Is that going forward after the medical marijuana, does it then lead to a society that uses marijuana, medical?
That's what I'm saying. There are consequences.
Is there an abuse of the medical marijuana on a local level that
I equated this in my column. This is where I updated the column to gambling. We have seen a phenomenal amount of money coming out of the Racino in Yonkers. Were these new gamblers that legalized gambling? No. This was the money being shipped out of New York to Atlantic City and Mohegan Sun. We didn't get new gamblers. We just kept the money. Well, the same thing with let's go to the end game, the legalization of marijuana. You're not going to get more smokers, but all this money spent in the underground economy now gets to be brought up into the light of day of a taxable, regulatable economy like alcohol. Tax it, regulate it, punish the abuse.
Right.
We have the technology for this now. 10, 20 years ago, you didn't have the technology for driving under the influence. But now you have it. So even if that's the fear, you're not going to get more smokers. you're going to get more money because that money spent underground now comes to the light of day.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just don't,
Hey, by the way,
see the
by the way, breaking news, Bazzo becomes bleeding heart. when you said about compassion, right? Now are you a bleeding heart?
In this respect, yes, because I think the easing the pain of the suffering should be tantamount. And you know what they say about writing. You know, the idea of a commentary is to comfort the inflicted and to inflict the comfortable.
Well, that's journalism.
Yes. And H.L. Mencken said that, and he is totally true. But to comfort the inflicted is very,
inflict the comfortable. Yeah.
Is very tantamount to a lot of things here.
If we had a local newspaper, we could read about it, but we don't have a local newspaper
no,
it
was it. I wrote about it. That's not true. I wrote about it. And now, to another topic that is going on here. We have a state that is seriously in debt. And you have a governor that everybody thinks walks on water. Yet him in this legislature, when Andrew Cuomo took office, our unemployment was 5.5. Now the real number is 12, but the official number is 10%. But the real number is 12%. Our debt is over $1 billion. We are spending $132 billion just in the state budget. Our gas prices are the highest in the nation, even more than California. The average, it was just out last week. Because our rules and our taxes and the regulations New York imposes adds a full $1 to a gallon of gasoline. And that's a conservative estimate. Now they want to raise, as part of this deal with the Senate, which I'll talk about in a minute, raise the minimum wage to $8.50 an hour, which the last time they did it, the group that is supposed to help the 16 to 29-year-olds saw a 29% decrease in employment because businesses.
When they raised the minimum wage?
From to $7.25,
right,
where it is now, yes. Is this governor all that everybody says he is, or is he just a phony like I write this week?
I mean, that's sort
this
of
week I call
that's
him
like two extremes. Is anybody all that, you know, sometimes you think they are, or they're...
what has he
or
done
their PR
to help the economy of New York? Everything has gotten worse. And you can't blame Bush, you can't blame Obama, you can't blame Congress. This is strictly the policies that have made it worse than the national average, signed by him, enacted by the legislature.
Oh, I mean, New York is unique in many ways.
And screwing the people, yeah.
No, but you just said that's been the national trend in the economy for how many years now? That things have gotten worse.
But not as bad as it is in New York. They have done nothing to help themselves. You got hydraulic fracturing that there's a report on his desk that says creates an immediately 22,000 private sector union jobs, another $60,000 in private sector employment of support jobs. Immediate. Yeah. But he now puts another 90-day extension to study whether hydrofracking causes venereal disease. Not joking. Not joking. He does
something. That's a bad example, simply because that issue is so fraught with emotion and politics.
But it should be. It's science.
Yeah. But you know something? I don't know about you. My observation the last just month is that the opposition to hydrofracking is building and building. Yep. Haven't you?
Yes.
That's what I'm seeing, right?
Built on lies.
Yes, yes.
I'm just saying it. That in the court of public opinion, the opposition seems to be winning.
The public are idiots. The science is in. I'm sorry. The federal EPA under Obama, which is not a bastion of conservative pro-business, says fracking is safe. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation says fracking is safe. This has been studied for 5 years. Every argument they have put out, the opposition, has been refuted from the federal and state level, plus your own eyes in the states that allow fracking. Right. And Cuomo says we're going to do. We got the 5-minute notice? Was that the 5-minute notice?
Yes.
Just quickly, he says we're going to decide this by science and not by politics, but it's being decided by politics.
Well, here's the problem. There's a YouTube video where the guy opens up the faucet on his kitchen sink, and some water starts to run out, and he lights a match, and the thing like literally explodes.
But But that wasn't
And it's
from
in Pennsylvania
But that
where
wasn't from hydrofracking.
Is that staged or is it actual?
No, it's actual.
No, it's actual, but it's not from hydrofracking. The federal government proved that this has been going on for 100 years.
Right.
That in the water tables you have methane gas naturally down there that can do this. It's just a natural occurrence.
Right.
It's not. Now listen, we had the.
And by the way, so just to wrap up.
Wrap this up.
Just to drill down on hydrofracking a little bit more. Again, some of it, not all of it, but I think some of any of these issues and where people fall on either side of the issue can be attributed to the low information phenomenon. Right. I mean, it's not a phenomenon. The word is new, but the practice is as old as Methuselah. That people jump to conclusions without having enough information.
Sure. Now listen, this is the last 5 minutes. This is our Christmas New Year's show. We all want, because Bruce has his own TV show, Frank Talks to Bruce the blog. We have the Volpe Bazzo Report, and without you, the audience, we have nothing.
Right.
You guys want us here. And this is very important. And we want to thank you and wish you a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas.
And a Happy Hanukkah.
Now, we also can't do this show without two very important people. Dennis Tate, our director, and Celia, who runs the studio. Can you guys come out here a minute? Celia, Dennis, please come out here a minute.
This is like unrehearsed.
No.
It's unheard of. Okay.
Because we're going to run out of time, and I want to get everybody that's responsible for this show.
Right.
Sorry, credits where credits due.
That's right, because I know Celia's in charge. Producer,
does a great
with
job
your
as
show too.
Public access
And
coordinator.
I know Richard Redman is your
is the
director.
director.
Come on.
Right.
Let's go.
Come on out.
Come on out. Wherever you are. Don't you love it when he does this?
Yes, we have Santa Bazzo. Merry Christmas. Dennis, Merry Christmas.
Good job,
Santa
guys.
Bazzo's here. Bruce,
Come on,
Merry
man.
Christmas.
Come on, let's go.
And Happy Hanukkah.
Domenic, Merry Christmas.
Oh, even for me? Oh, you didn't
Yes.
tell me we were going to
No. These are from our co-producer, Tommy Newman. And Ma, come on over. No, you're going to wish everybody Merry Christmas. Come,
Hey,
Mother,
Mom.
come. Mother, come. We're running out of time.
Come here.
Come on, Mother.
Come on here.
Bazzo, I always thought you thought out of the box. I guess not. I don't know.
I'm taking up boxing. Mother, come behind.
Come on here.
Everybody, from all of us, to all of you, a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah,
Happy Hanukkah. Happy
and
New Year.
a Happy New Year. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And thank everybody for making this show possible.
Right.
Now, I know you guys got to go back and close out the credits.
And our hats off to you.
Yes, we can take these. No, I'm leaving my hat on. The glare will shine on my head.
Right. Now instead of hat head, I got Santa hat head.
What are your plans for the holiday, Bruce? Are you going away?
Well, some people think I've been away for a number of years, but that's only a nasty rumor. No, I'm going to be hanging around the region that I love, the Hudson Valley and northern Westchester and all the towns around it. And I love this time of year. I'll just very quickly, when I went my freshman year to the University of Miami, I felt like our family didn't travel a lot, so I want to go away. I was so homesick by Thanksgiving. I wasn't going to. I said to my dad when I left, "I'll see you. Holidays, Christmas, by Thanksgiving, I want to go home." And I'll never forget flying over, coming home Thanksgiving, this was 1968, and seeing snow on the ground in New York. I mean, tears came to my eyes. I love the seasons here. Yeah.
Well, Dominic, you went to college. What was Christmas like when you went to college?
Oh, I just worked all my life. There was no Christmas.
No, your father lied to you and gave you a 4-year break. So you go to college, you'll have your own life.
More importantly, predictions for 2013. Anything?
I do think the economy is going to get better, and this may sound like a little deja vu with our conversation, but I do think it's a very exciting time now with digital media, and it's not just a matter of media, or if you're in the media business, it's changing our lives, and it's changing the quality of our lives, and it's changing our behavior. Everything. It's a digital world, and I think you're just going to be seeing more and more of that. And social media, it's an incredible thing. Anybody who's gotten into it.
So you're excited to be still in the business then?
No, and at Chase Media Group, I'm now helping to coordinate our social media plans. We have a new website coming up, Town Link, and it's all built on a digital lifestyle.
All right,
go ahead.
Volpe Bazzo,
right.
Merry
Christmas, Happy New Year,
Right.
Happy Hanukkah.
And that's what I say. What say you?
What say you?
Next to you and defend her there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota